Hello, welcome to Lorna's Cooking. I'm Lorna and I'm going to show you how to cut a pineapple up in a couple of different ways. Now before we get started, let me give you a couple of suggestions to picking a ripe pineapple before you leave the grocery store or farmer's market or wherever you get your pineapples from. The first thing you want to make sure is that the leaves of the pineapple are a nice green. Now this one I've actually had for a couple of days. It is best to cut your pineapple up when you first get it, but I got a great deal from pineapples and I got about 4 of them, so I have a couple. So this one, as I said, is a couple of days old, but usually when I got it, it was a really beautiful green, the leaves were. The second thing you want to do is you want to take one of the leaves on the inner part of the pineapple and you pull it. And if it comes out pretty easily, then that gives you kind of a clue that the pineapple is ripe as well. The other thing is turn it over, smell it, and if it has a really nice pineapple smell, that's the third clue that you have a ripe pineapple. And lastly, you squeeze it, and if it kind of gives a little bit, that is the last clue that I would suggest to make sure that your pineapple is ripe. Okay, so make sure you have a sharp knife, because when you're cutting up the pineapple, the outer part of the pineapple is pretty tough. So having a sharp knife makes it a lot easier. So what I did here was I cut about a 1/2 inch into the pineapple top, and I cut that off, and then I turned it around and I cut the bottom off. And so this is what you have left after you've cut the top, about a 1/2 inch, as I said. So I'll turn it on its bottom and begin to cut into the skin. And as you can see, it's even with a really sharp knife, sometimes it can be kind of difficult. The outer side of the pineapple can be really tough. And you see the different eyes. If you don't cut in far enough, you'll still have those. I don't like to cut too far into the meat of the pineapple because you lose a lot. So I'll go back in with either a potato peeler or the end of a paring knife, and I'll get the eyes out. I'm trying to preserve as much of the meat as I can of the pineapple. Let's see, I still see a little bit of the green. Okay. Now this, you see all these eyes here that you can actually get out. Now if you still see green, you can go back in and shave off some more. Now my board is sliding all over the place. I usually try to put either a wet towel or something underneath it, and it won't move around as much. Actually, let's do that. I'll be right back. Okay, so if you put a little bit of water on a paper towel or a towel and place it under your board, it'll stop the sliding as much. So back to what I was saying. Getting the eyes off of here is really easy. I'm going to finish cutting a little bit of the green that I see, and then I'll show you an easy way to get the eyes, because you don't want to eat those. Those are just as tough as the skin, and you don't want to get it caught in your throat while you are eating your pineapple. So let's see. Okay, I think I see. There we go. Now put your knife safely away because you don't want to get cut. And you just take, this is a potato peeler that has a little indentation at the tip. And you just take it, and if you can see that, and you just go around, and see, it comes right out. So you just do that to each of those eyes, and then you'll be ready to cut into the pineapple, or you'll be able to cut it up so you can eat it. And let me get these out real quick, and I'll show you how to cut it up. Okay, it didn't take me very long to go through and cut most of all the eyes out. I still see a little bit of something left here, but it's not bad at all. Okay. And you just push those to the side and you're ready to cut your pineapple. Now the first way I'm going to show you how to do it is what I'll do when I'm just making small pieces to either go into a fruit salad or if I'm going to freeze them for later, sometimes even to put into a smoothie. So you want to take the pineapple and you want to cut it down the middle. And try to make a straight cut all the way down. And you see you have this core that's real fibrous, it's hard to eat, so we have to cut that out. What I'll do next is I'll take the pineapple and it's probably easier to stand it up so you can cut straight down and watch your fingers and be very careful. And then you'll have these two pieces left. So I will take the pineapple and one more time and I will hold on to the pineapple, watching my fingers, and I'll cut away. And you can see where the fibrous part is, so if you're wondering how do I know where to cut, you want to cut that away so you'll have this really good flesh of the pineapple. Okay, so I've cut up some and I already have it in the bowl. It's good to have a bowl handy. So you take pineapple, go down where you'll see where the fibrous part is to cut away. And you just cut it away. Okay. And then you take and just cut it as thin as you want. I like, as I said, to be about the size that you would put in a fruit salad or into smoothies. And you just cut down. Okay. Now I'll even go this direction sometimes because I just want little pieces. And if you decide to do that, you just go like that, and then you take them and go the other direction, just depending on how big or how small you would like those pieces. And as you see, nice size, bite-sized pieces that could be either in a fruit salad or, like I said, frozen to go into a smoothie or just to be eaten with a fork and out of a bowl because it's so tasty. So I'm gonna leave these a little bigger because of the eyes I took out of them there. Okay. And so that's how to cut up the pineapple one way. And I'll show you how to do it another way in just a moment. Okay, so here's another pineapple. I'm going to show you how to cut it up to make it easy to eat. Let's see. Oops. So we're going to put that to the side. And it's a little bit larger on the chunks, but you'll see that it gives you another option. I did put on gloves because sometimes when you're dealing with pineapple or anything that has a lot of acid in it, it could start annoying your hands or your skin. Now, I wasn't having any problems, but I just did it to show you that you can also cut this up with gloves on if you have a problem with too much acid. Okay, I'm going to take this knife and I'm going to cut it just a little bit. Yeah, okay, I'm looking at where I should cut. I cut usually about a ½ inch into the pineapple. Let's see if that's the right. Yeah, that works. Okay, so you want to set that aside, and then you're going to cut the bottom. Same thing, about a ½ inch into the bottom of the pineapple. And make sure you hold on tight. And I always want to remind you to watch your fingers. Watch your fingers because it's a sharp knife I'm using, and I'm sure that if you're using a sharp knife, you don't want to be losing fingers. Or I don't even want to cut into my glove. I have to be careful. So you put it back on its bottom because that's the widest space, and it's usually easier to cut the skin off this way. So you take it, and we're going to cut the skin off. I'm going to set that aside. Okay. And And just follow it all the way around the best you can. As you notice, I'm cutting. I'm trying to make sure that I keep my fingers far away from the blade. Just a side note, that first pineapple that I cut up is delicious. Of course, I had to taste it. So I don't have as many eyes to take off of this pineapple as I did the other. Maybe because I'm cutting a little bit further in. It's up to you. I just like to try to leave as much as a pineapple as I can. Okay, let's take a peek around this side. Maybe I'll cut a little bit more off. And once you get the hang of this, it actually doesn't take that long. It's just I'm trying to make sure that I get the green off more than anything. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to go back through with the tip of my peeler and just get the eyes out. Like I said, if you don't have one of these type of peelers, you can get a paring knife or just something to go around and get the eyes out. Here's another great way to cut your pineapple up. Now this is the way that I would cut my pineapple if I were going to grill it. I would just take the pineapple, cut in to whatever thickness. Let's go with this right here. And cut rounds into you. And just cut rounds. These rounds can be placed on the grill. Now, I didn't know that I liked grilled pineapple as much as I did until I went to a Brazilian restaurant. Tried the grilled pineapple, and I had to copy it when I got home. That was years ago. So now I'm into grilled pineapple. You should try it if you haven't tried it before, because you would think, fruit on a grill. Well, it's actually really, really good. So just cut them into rounds, and then you place them on the grill. Grill them up a little bit, let the sugar caramelize, and they are delicious. Now, if you don't want to have the middle part here, here's an easy way. Let's finish cutting this up, and I'll show you an easy way to get the center out. Now, one way to do it, to get the center out, is you can use a round cookie cutter. But if you don't have that available, I'll show you how to do it with a paring knife. Okay. Let's cut that last piece. Okay. So you put your knife aside. Here. Okay. So let's take a piece, lay it flat. Take your paring knife, you're being very careful. Go all the way around, making sure that you cut all the way through when you go around. And just be very careful not to cut or slip and cut yourself. Okay? I'm making sure that I went all the way around. And if it's done correctly, it should pop right out. There you go. So here's another way that you can cut your pineapple up. It's really easy, and if you like larger chunks to eat, this is the way to do it. So we're gonna cut the top of the pineapple off one more time. So we cut the top of the pineapple off about ½ an inch from the shoulder, is what that's called, of the pineapple. We're going to cut about ½ an inch off the bottom. I'll set that aside. And this time we're not going to take the skin off. at least not yet. We're just going to cut straight down the middle, watching your fingers and your thumbs. Okay, so you have your two halves, and then we're going to cut this again into a fourth. Try to cut it down the middle. Okay, so we'll set one of those quarters aside, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut down to get a we're just going to cut down to get the center fibrous part off. Okay, you can just set that aside. Let's see, I kind of usually stick my finger in just to make sure that I got that. Okay, so next we're going to do, how about let's take it, we're going to pick it up and we're going to cut down the middle of that. Now let's put that aside, just one piece, okay? So this is a part you have to be really careful, okay? You're gonna take it, you wanna take the knife, and you wanna go down, trying to get the skin to detach from the meatier part, but don't let it fall off, okay? After you do that, you're just gonna cut all the way down to whatever thickness that you like. There you go. So you have a few different ways that you can cut your pineapple depending on what you want to use it for. You have the larger chunks, you have the pineapple ring with the hole, you have it without the hole, and then you also have just a little bite-sized pieces that I like to use for desserts or whatever. If you like pineapple, and especially if you got a great deal like I did, here's a few ideas that you can do. Take care.